Good evening. We continue to follow breaking developments in the investigation into a mass shooting overnight on West 6th Street.
Tonight, we have the latest from investigators as they continue to uncover new information about the suspected shooter, including searching a home in Flugerville linked to that individual.
And we're seeing and hearing new and disturbing video of what happened early this morning. Good afternoon to you. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. Our Darrenisha Heron is live downtown on 6th Street. We also have Tony Plahetsky and Jose Alonso joining us to bring us up to speed on the investigation.
We want to give you the latest on the victims tonight. Right now at this hour, 14 patients were located at the scene of that shooting and taken to nearby hospitals, and 2 victims were pronounced dead at the scene. 3 of those hospitalized remain in critical condition at this hour. At least 4 of the 14 patients have been released from local hospitals, according to St. David's Healthcare. The shooter was shot and killed by police.
All right, now let's bring in Tony, who has been digging into new information about the suspected shooter's identity. Tony, what can you tell us?
Well, authorities are trying to piece together everything they can about the gunman. What they have been able to confirm in the past few hours is that he apparently migrated to the United States in 2012 and is a U.S. citizen. In addition to that, they are also trying to trace his movements into downtown Austin in the overnight hours, pulling security video from all sorts of businesses, trying to determine how long he had been in the area and track his movements into the final moments before he began opening fire. Keep in mind that authorities say that he first opened fire from an SUV using a pistol, then parked that SUV and returned to the area with an assault rifle believed to be an AK-47 or an AR-15. But in terms of the investigation and where the FBI and Austin police are at this hour, they are still trying to determine whether or not he acted alone, whether he is what they would call a lone wolf possible terrorist, or whether or not he may be connected to a potentially larger group. And so as a result of that, they are issuing a number of search warrants at this hour, not only on that property that we know in Flugerville, but also trying to look at his digital footprint as well, including any sort of potentially troublesome or troubling social media post.
Earlier this morning on Daybreak, Tony, when you were reporting what you had learned, you gave us an indication of what he was doing in those moments before the shooting actually happened, what his movements were around the Buford's Club.
Exactly. And that is key to the investigation. Again, not only will authorities rely on digital evidence, including security video, but they are also trying to talk to anyone in that area who may have seen him approaching the area. One of the things that they would want to learn, for example, is whether or not he spoke anything about his potential actions or made any statements that they would want to include as part of this massive, sprawling, both federal and local investigation.
All right, senior reporter Tony Plahetsky, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
We have been sticking close to this investigation, and we had our cameras rolling as police and federal agents zeroed in on a home in Flugerville linked to the shooter.
KVUE's Jose Alonso continues our team coverage. And Jose, investigators searched that home for quite a while. Any idea what they've found so far?
Quita, Mark, what it seems to be looking for is that motive behind the deadly early morning shooting in downtown Austin. This was a very active scene here, but it's now become a much more quieter environment in this Flugerville neighborhood, and that's right off of Kickapoo Cavern Drive. Now take a look right here behind me. This is the house that officials were investigating in connection to the shooting on West 6th Street that left 2 people dead and injured 14 others. Officials were focusing on this white vehicle, and since they've left, we've seen more people pulling up and going inside. But I do want to bring it back to earlier this morning where neighbors saw law enforcement, including SWAT and ATF, barge into this street and start their investigation. It was around 3 o'clock when we started seeing officials take boxes and other items from inside the house. And we did not see anyone be detained, but we did see officials questioning people. Now, we were able to speak with a neighbor across the street who says it was surprising to hear loud demands being shouted right outside of her front door.
We were like out and we saw these police officers, so many cars, and then so we were really scared for some time, and then the news came out, and yeah, it was very scary at that moment.
This neighbor says she didn't really see a lot of activity at this specific house, and she wasn't aware of this investigation and how it was a connection to the shooting on West 6th Street. After we informed her, she was at a loss of words because of how quiet and family friendly her neighborhood is. And a lot of other neighbors I was able to speak to off camera pretty much had the same thing to say. And they're all wondering, we're all still waiting to hear from officials about how this house is connected to that deadly shooting in downtown Austin. Reporting live in Flugerville, Jose Alonso, KVUE News.
Another piece of the puzzle there, Jose. Thank you.